Hello, cutie pies. Welcome in. Okay, I did not make a smoothie video tonight, but that's okay. I'm gonna make one tomorrow. I make one every day, a smoothie. So I will show you guys my smoothies soon. But welcome in. If you're new here, double welcome in. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited, you guys. I have 1.8K subscribers. Thank you guys so much for listening to my shenanigans. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but happy to help. But yeah, right now we're going to talk about my content creating journey. Now, the reason why we're talking about this is because I've been doing content creating for a while. My hair's bothering me. I don't like the way it looks because I just spent a whole bunch of time sweating, so now it's like all not. I need to re-straighten it. It's whatever. But you know, I really do believe everyone can make money online. You don't have to be a certain gender, a certain race, a certain look, or anything. And like I said before, you know, with my chronic illness, this is a big, big reason why I do content creating. I would like to think even without my illness, like if I was good, if I saw the opportunity for content creating, I'd like to think that I would have taken it, but I don't know. You know, there are times in my life where I do become comfortable and complacent, and I'm okay with that sometimes, you know? I feel like some people can understand that. Sometimes I get tired of trying to achieve goals and I just want to sit in what I've achieved. You know what I mean? Which I think is okay. My hip is feeling so much better today. And I don't think that churro and that coffee impacted me really at all. But we'll see officially tomorrow how I feel. But this shit, I don't really trust in supplements. I don't mind ashwagandha. I don't mind like lion's mane supplements. But this is a new one. But this is in avocados. And this is what essentially kills mold if you have a mold detox. So right now I'm doing like a bacterial parasitic mold detox. Like just detoxing my body so that whatever's left, because there's just like this little tiny bit of swelling in my hip that's left, and that's why I'm like walking funky still, because it's still pretty painful, I'm not gonna lie. When you guys see me on my motorcycle, then we celebrate, because then we know I'm walking normal and I've got the strength. So I'm just pushing for that, because that's soon, and we'll see. And I gotta work up my strength too. So I can work on my ankles and stuff, which is good, and the other strength, but I gotta make sure that my hip is good enough. And so I'm really trying to be strict with things and whatnot, but yeah, anyway. Like I said, a big reason why I do this is because of my illness, and I probably would have become complacent if I was working like a really good job because I had good health. I stopped working in the regular field, so this is just to, you know, inspire people who've been looking to start content creating and they don't know how. This is just to inspire people to start, because like I said, I'm not making like 10K, 20K, nowhere near that months. I would like to be. That's my goal, you know, and I'll get to it, but like I said many times, I've never meant to go viral or anything on TikTok, so now I'm pretty confident, because all my platforms have gone viral, I'm pretty confident in taking this on and just kind of committing to it, and I see so many benefits with it, and I love it so much. But yeah, so if you've been debating content creating, maybe this is your sign to start. Now, before I did content creating, I actually worked tech. So at first, my work, like my resume or whatever you want to call it, my work history looks like this. I've always babysat, I've always sold art, stuff like that before the age of like 15. 15, 16, I worked at Jimmy John's. And then 17, 18, I worked at 17, I think Dunkin'. and then some sales jobs. Cutco, which I really liked Cutco. Some people don't like Cutco, but I did super well in it. I actually still have a few Cutco knives. I think they're actually pretty good quality knives. Um, so yeah, I did really well with Cutco and I loved it. And then so I moved into sales in a different area, more with my motorcycle, and that was okay. It's just so damn hot. It was difficult to do because it's during the summer. And then I just started to sell my skills. So essentially, I started off being a personal chef for this lady in Scottsdale. Maybe for 7, 8 months. She was crazy. She was super Christian, and I had to cook for her and her son, who lived across from her. And her son ate a shit ton. And they were very, very healthy. But I didn't know at the time that personal chef required, the job duties were usually of a personal chef to take care of the home, clean, blah, blah, go run errands. However, I specifically stated what my job duties were. She just wanted to make me do these other things, but she wasn't paying me that much, so technically she could have probably hired another person to do what she wanted. But nonetheless, I ended up leaving that and going to Caption Call, which was like a TTY thing. So for example, I'm calling you. You can't hear very well, so you have a special phone that types it out as you can read it on the screen, the conversation, as I'm talking to you. So everything I say, you can read on a special phone screen. But there's a person behind there who's dictating either verbally or physically with typing. And so that's what my job was dictating that. And we had the choice of doing typing or verbal. And at the time, the verbal technology software that we had was like mediocre. Like, it was pretty decent. But it kind of sucks still. So you had to kind of rely on typing skills. That job gives me nightmares, okay? Most of that clientele was old people. And the rules were you had to type everything. That includes sex calls, because these people be getting freaky. I am traumatized by the things that I have heard. Anyway, we're gonna move on. From there, I moved to working for Microsoft, I think. I don't think there was a job in between, but Microsoft was my first tech work from home job. So I worked from home and I just answered emails all day. We created pretty much templates in a sense, like pretty much people, it's tier 1 tech. So by the way, if anything, if you're looking for tech or some like job, new avenue to go, tech is great. Technology is always going to be advancing, and tier 1 tech, people always think that's like crazy shit, but that's just changing passwords. That's people saying, hey, can I change my username? And what, depending on the software and program and whoever the host, yes you can, no you can't, so. And they usually give you like a knowledge-based center where you can go in and look up the issue and just kind of, use your own resources to figure out the issue. It's pretty easy, right? Because that's all it was for Microsoft. It was just tier 1 tech support, and it was pretty much just like, hey, how do I connect my account? How do I change my password? How do I set up two-factor authentication thing? Verification or whatever the fuck. Shit like that. And a lot of us already know how to do that because we're always on our phones, and it's a lot of old people who don't know how to do that, and they don't want to figure it out. Okay, so you're there to do it for them. So a lot of people think you have to be super techy. You don't have to be. But I have always enjoyed tech. I've always, MySpace, I was always changing my backgrounds with the HTML, little fucking whatever the hell you call them. The JavaScript shit, whatever the fuck. I'm blanking on it. But, the code shit. But yeah, anyway, you get what I'm saying. But I was always, I like that stuff. It's just kind of come naturally, but I think that comes naturally for a lot of people my age. Because we kind of grew up where technology was like fascinating. Wow, look at this, how fun. So it was fun to learn it, right? So a lot of people in my age group, maybe a few years younger or older, would do so great in tech. And there's a lot of work from home tech jobs. So Microsoft was my first one. Highly recommend. They were a great company. I worked on the Outlook.com. No, Outlook. Yeah, I think. No, Outlook desktop, I forget. Outlook program. Either the desktop or the, like, website. Two different programs, but nonetheless. Then I moved to Apple tech support, and I worked there for a bit. That was really nice. They do some sketchy shit, but decent. It's alright. And then from there, I moved to Mod Squad. Mod Squad was great. That's where I ended up learning a lot, and then I ended up working for the MGM Grand Hotels. They were actually one of my clients because I worked, what the fuck do you call it? Wi-Fi tech support, tier 3, for the MGM Grand Hotels from home, which was nice. And I got to work for like Razor Scooter and work their customer base and stuff like that. Help, like, it was pretty much just like a whole bunch of odd jobs. I really liked it because it was a whole bunch of odd jobs. You got to pick your schedule, blah blah. But then they started corporatizing themselves, and things started changing. So where I could get like a 12-hour, the shifts that you would pick were like 2-hour blocks, 2-3 hours. So in the beginning, I could pick a whole bunch of shifts in a row and get a 12-hour shift every single day. And because I showed up on time, I had great metrics, I was always scoring high, and you get top pick for the shift whatever stuff. Like, you get to be chosen first. You know, obviously the shifts fill up. So you get to be chosen first for the ones that you want, right? So often I would get the ones that I want, and then eventually they started limiting because like a new company came in and started taking projects off. So then the whatever, the schedules are fucked up. So then I would have 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, 2 hours off. So at a certain point, I was never getting 8 hours of sleep. So pretty much what I did was my office was right across from my bed. Not my office, but like my little desk, you know, my little setup. So I would just go nap and then wake up and go do it. And my grandma passed away during that time. And then Odin lost his eye during that time, my dog. And it was just all so crazy. And then it was wintertime, and I had to ride my motorcycle to the airport, and I was scared I was not going to make it. I was so scared. I did not want to miss my grandma's funeral. So I ended up moving to Arizona while I was still with them. And then they ended up letting me go because I was missing work. Because one day I was driving my Jeep, and the engine blew. It was like a radiator hose or something that blew. And then the next day, because I was hanging out with my friends who are on the opposite end of town, and we were going to get my Jeep. That's what we were doing. And then the next day, I don't know what happened. I'm just riding, and I think I'm just riding around. I don't really think I have a destination, but I'm near their end of town at least. But my bike breaks down, and so I'm able to call them like, hey, Katie, can you come help me? Because her boyfriend had a truck. I'm like, I broke down. Do you mind come getting it? And I can just leave it at your place. You know, and I think she took me to my home. And so, and then the next day I ended up coming back, and because her dude was like a mechanic or liked to work on vehicles and stuff. So, yeah, at that point they were like, we don't like this trend that's happening with you missing work. And granted, I had valid reasons, but at that point I was ready to be let go. I was so exhausted because, you see, I was a contractor for them. Through these companies, I had been a contractor, and except for Microsoft, and you don't get the same benefits. So I worked overtime. I never got overtime pay. You only get overtime pay when you get hired on, and so they never hired me on. And then when it came to like the 12-hour shift thing, I was like, can you guys hire me on so at least I can have like 12-hour shifts like continuously, so I'm not like, you know, freaking out? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, fuck you. And then on top of that, if you got hired on, you would get like grief time off, right? So they literally expected me to deal with everything that I was dealing with and just like come back and work like it was nothing, and I couldn't do that. It was so difficult. And so I decided to move down here, and with all those events, and then my grandma's funeral being like a few months before, like a month before, they just were not having it. And corporate, with all that shit happening, like, they were the kind of company that when I first started, they were giving like $50 gift cards to me. And then after a while, it was like $5 gift cards, maybe once every 6 months. You know, because corporate came in and started changing the rules, like real corporate people, because they were doing really well. We were having a great time. It was a good company. I don't know if they're the same, because I suspect that they're not, because of the corporate shit. But from there, I ended up moving to, who did I move to? I think Keep. I think there was someone in between there. There was. I forget though. I forget their name. But Keep was the last person. KEAP, and they're just a small app. And they needed people to run the customer service. Highly recommend them because they're once again work from home. And they work with, like, if you, like, one of my coworkers, she came from a gas station. She was working at Circle K. So that's what I mean. Like, most of us have the skills for tech, especially tier 1, and they pay pretty good because tech is always going to be a thing. Cybersecurity, tech, those are going to be really strong things to go into, especially if you like being at home and working from home. That's what I started doing. Now, keep in mind, since I was 6, I've always been in this path of going towards a restaurant. Everything that I've done, everything that I've worked job-wise, anything that I do in general really adds to the ultimate goal, which is my restaurant. And the restaurant will add to other goals because I want to have a compound. I want to be able to, you know, have multiple restaurants and stuff like that. But that's kind of the end goal for me. I've wanted that since I was 6, right? So I knew at that point, that's when I was like so sick of everything. I was dating a shitty dude. I had moved down to Arizona. My grandma died. I was sick of these jobs. They didn't give a shit about me. And I was dating this crappy ass dude who just would not work for the life of him and was always watching porn and was always freaking doing something disgusting. And at that point I was drinking a lot, so I was just very not happy with myself because I was sick. I was really sick internally and just not, I would, you know, I wouldn't realize the attachment issues that I had. And so then I would get attached to the wrong kind of people because, you know, certain things looked familiar and I was okay with that, but that led to really crappy dudes. And so then I was like, okay, I gotta fix this shit. So then I decided, okay, I'm gonna fix this shit. And so that's when OF and TikTok started, and everybody was telling me, like, you gotta hop on that game, and I was kind of resistant to it, and they were telling me, you gotta hop on Twitch, you gotta do that stuff, and I was like, I'm so, at this point, like, that's what I did for a living, was figure out platforms, like, I'm so tired of it. But then at a certain point, I was like, you know what, it doesn't even matter, like, working for someone or not, I'm always going to be figuring out a new platform because apps are always going to be changing and updates and shit like that, so I might as well lean into it. So I was like, okay, well, I know I'm good at that. I know I'm good at migrating through software and platforms and learning it and everything. So okay, I can do that, you know. So with my Twitch, I set everything up. OBS doesn't take a rocket scientist. The purpose of a lot of stuff you'll find when you start working tech is it's meant to be user friendly, right? It can be a little confusing, but it's meant to be user friendly. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. A rocket surgeon. But so at that time I was like, okay. So I decided to jump into the OF kind of thing, and at that point, everybody knew me as very Mormon and, like, you know, I don't sleep around. Like, when I was in a relationship, I would have relations, but I wasn't the kind to be, like, you know, sleeping around, and I have nothing against people who sleep around. I could care less. Do what you want. I just don't like doing that because I get attached easy. So, it was, like, a shocker that I opened up an OF. So I was able to make pretty good money in the beginning from that. Just the fact that people are like, whoa, what? But through that, like I said, I went viral on TikTok. So my first TikTok account, I started TikTok, and then I slowly started Twitch. I didn't really know what I was doing with Twitch, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I started my OF, I started a TikTok account, and I didn't really correlate the two. I didn't know how at the time. I didn't know anything about that, you know. I just kind of started things because people said I'd be good in it. I'm like, work isn't working for me. You know, I was so sick. I couldn't keep to the scheduled days. I needed a break. And the thing that was so eye-opening to me was when I decided to quit. I decided to quit, and I had money to like get me by for like another month, and I knew with this OF stuff I knew I'd make money, so I was like, okay, let me get myself together. Like, give me a week of where I can just focus and like get myself to feel better, stop drinking, stop taking this chemo shit, kick out this dude, start eating better, because I knew what I wanted to start eating and stuff like that, get back to where I was. And so that's where, like, of course the health journey is shit, but nonetheless, yeah, I think I was just really, I say this a lot, you get sick of your own shit. I was really sick of my own shit. And so at that point in time, I've always known that, you know, regardless of what I wear, people sexualize the hell out of me. So at that point, I figured, you know, might as well, because people still, and they'll pay me for it, so why not? And I like taking sexy pictures, and I don't really have anyone to send them to. So if I could get paid for them, yeah. And then I love dressing up. I love dressing up. I love doing cosplay. I love just being me. I love being able to look like this, and people support that. I really love that because I love to just be as creative as I can with my avatar. So, there's a certain point in time when I just really, during that week, meditated a lot. And I was actually, what it was I was microdosing at that point in time. I started microdosing a little bit and started meditating a lot. So that's when I really just kind of took into myself and cut everyone off, stopped going to work, and just decided, okay, I've done sales before and I did so great. Like when I worked for Cutco, within that first month, I was in the top 11% in the state. I just love people, and I love knives, and I like cooking a lot. So I think I was really passionate and able to sell the knives very well. And I like Cutco knives. They're not bad. So there's always better knives out there, of course, but they're not bad. They're pretty good. So from there, I just kind of remembered like all the things that I learned and everything that I've done with my jobs, right? And I love cooking and stuff like that, and that would allow, I figured like me stepping into this would allow me to cook and do the things that I love while taking videos or taking cute pictures and getting paid for it. Like just something as simple as doing the dishes and, you know, wearing something really cute and take some pictures. I got your dishes, you know. Might as well 2-in-1 kind of thing, right? So that's kind of where my content journey started. And then on TikTok, I was just doing random stuff. I never really knew what I was doing, and then I just randomly took off. I would say stupid shit that came to mind. I would say funny things, and people just really enjoyed it and enjoyed my humor. So I was able to do that, and I never really learned to connect that account. So I first started off, my first account blew up at 90K. Well, it was at 89.5 before it got taken down. It hit like 75, 85K, and then when it got taken down, it was like at 89.5. And then the next one was 75K, the next one was 50K, and I started them, and then within like 3-6 months, they'd be up to that point and then taken down. So at first it was frustrating because I was like, oh my god, I lost my account, like whatever shall I do? You know, which is so funny because I have a video of this. They actually banned my account until 1969. And I'm like, how does that even work? Like, how did you put that in the system? I want to know. Like, what? Like, what does it look like on the computer for you to put it in for it to be that, you know? So anyway, regardless. But someone got me, I don't want to say who, I know who. But someone got me a gift and it's so cute. I have a photo shoot in this week. If you like Ewoks, I love Ewoks. But this is what I'm going to be wearing in my photo shoot for my Ewok shoot. So it's just a little romper. But it's got a zipper, which is cool for the front. Whoa! But anyway, photo shoots will be on Patreon and you know where else. Anyway, this bag is not a toy. To avoid dangerous suffocation, keep out with your babies and children. Well, they don't know who I am. No, I'm just kidding. But they didn't say adults. Now we're gonna make sure there's a new rule to the bags. I'll be like, yeah, I'm the reason why the caution hot coffee is on the McDonald's cup. Anyway, yeah, so at first when I lost my account, I was like, oh, son of a fuck, because god damn it. Like I was like, I'm never gonna get this again. You know, but then I went viral again and got so many people to follow me again, and then it got taken down again. I was like, okay, well, I guess I did this before, let me do it again. And then I've had to do it so many times at this point. I just willingly start new accounts because I don't care. So I just started a new TikTok account. I have one that is at 38K, and I use it for TikTok Shop now, and then I have a backup account. But the 38K one, I suspect it's gotten too many dings on it, so now it's like permanently shadow banned. It's just like it's deemed not safe for the community, right? And I get it. That was like first one started off for SW, so it's whatever. But this new one that I started, that's the one that I hope to get to 3 million. I hope to get to 3 million on my YouTube this year, and I hope to get to 3 mils or somewhere close to that on my Twitch. So, and Instagram. Like, I just want all of it to get to that kind of point. My YouTube, Facebook, Insta, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, etc. But I like doing it all for the ADHD sake because it allows me to just kind of not get bored with one task, you know? That's the thing that I struggled with. There was at one point, oh, I forgot, I worked for AR 500 Armor, which I ended up dating the boss of. That one's a pretty cool job. That one was a nice job because they just told me what to do and I'd be like, okay, got it. And they'd let me put in my headphones and just work. And then on Sundays, they'd let me come in on weekends, but on Sundays, they'd let me bring in Spudgy. So I got to bring in Spudgy and work with her at my desk. So I'd bring in like some muffins, and usually there'd be another person there, so me and the other person would share muffins if they wanted them. And me and Spudgy would hang out, and I would just do a whole bunch of work. I just enjoyed working. I do enjoy working. When my joints are healthy, I enjoy it. But I knew at a certain point that, you know, like I said earlier, that I really wanted to do this restaurant thing. I've always wanted to. I have my whole business plan written up and everything. And I was like, well, I went to my grandpa for an investment opportunity while I was working for these companies, right? And he didn't want to... The guy that I was looking for, so the guy, his best friend is the guy who owns Castles and Coasters in Arizona. I grew up with him at my church. So he's very familiar with me, but I was like, can you give me his info so I can, you know, talk to him about a potential investment in my restaurant? And he did not like that. He was not a fan of that. He was not for that. But I ended up emailing him, and I never got a response. Now, I don't know if it was the right email, because I know my grandfather was not a fan of it, so it would not surprise me if he did not respond, or did not give me the right email. But regardless, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not meant to have an investment. Maybe I'm supposed to be the investor. Oh, hold on. Okay, anyway, it gets pretty loud in here. Because they like to come and run in here. Mr. Shredder. He didn't like whoever was bumping the music. It's not really Shredder who's loud, it's actually Odin. He's the loudest. He's got that really shrill bark. But anyway, so I was like, okay, maybe I'm not meant to have an investor. Maybe I'm supposed to be my own investor, you know, and I'm like, how am I going to do that? And that's where I'm like, okay, well, the internet, you know, with what I'm doing, the content creating has so much money in it. And I remember because I was tripping on acid during this time when I was really poor. So what was happening was I was in my old apartment and I was tripping. I was doing like a little trip for myself, which I like to do. Like I would microdose, and then like once a month on the full moon, I would do like a trip, and I would just meditate, and it would just help me kind of work through trauma and understand myself better on a deeper level, right? And so at that point, I was really struggling. The dogs had no food. I had no food because the dogs had been eating my food because I was giving them like oats and rice and chicken and stuff. So I had no food and I had no money, but I had 90,000 followers on TikTok, and I have like OF and like ways for people to support financially if they wanted. I just didn't know how to funnel that, right? And that's where like first for that bit when I worked for Keep, it's hard to describe what they did. I think I talked about this earlier. They were like a campaign management website, sort of, so to speak. So essentially what they did was like if you had a business, you could make a campaign with their app. So you buy something from my business and that triggers a campaign, which means that triggers an email to be sent to you as like a thank you, and then another coupon email, or like if they have something in their cart and it sits for 24 hours, then it triggers a campaign to send you an email of, hey, this is in your cart, or like a week later to send you a coupon for what's in your cart, etc., etc. So people will get a third-party app to manage their businesses and do these campaigns for them so that they don't have to do them. Or they can do them, but they get like help from people. That's kind of what the job was to help with making their own campaigns and helping them with campaigns and whatever. So at this point, like, that's kind of what I was thinking of, right? So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how, I know I learned this, but how to apply it, right? And nobody can tell me how to apply this stuff, which is a little frustrating, but it builds those critical thinking skills, right? Because I could never turn to anyone and be like, hey, so this job I did this, and now I'm doing this, how do I apply those skills, right? I got to sit down with myself and fucking figure that shit out. So, I did, and eventually, you know, I don't even know what I figured out, but I just knew that something had to change, and I ended up changing it. But I've learned a lot in that time, and that was during that time when I first really started getting into manifesting. Because I was like, I don't think I have to do a ritual every time I need money. I don't think it goes that way, like it works that way. And so I wanted to dive in more deep about what that's all about and whatnot. So that's what I was doing kind of with this. Like I was kind of, you know, fucking around and finding out in a sense, in a philosophical sense. But I really wanted to test these theories out because I really did believe in manifesting, and people talk about manifesting, and it's been a thing for such a long time. It's in prayer, it's everything, like, you know, and I've known that. But I think there was a point where I just really wanted things to change. I really wanted to, and illness wise, everything, and that's when the journey started, and things had to be torn down to be rebuilt, kind of, so to speak, you know. So slowly through the time, I started getting better and better with TikToks, and now I'll go into like strategies and stuff. I particularly don't have one strategy because I have ADHD. That's what I cater to the most. I cater to what I enjoy doing, what I enjoy reading about, what I enjoy whatever learning about, etc., etc. So at a certain point there was, you know, there were so many points in my journey that I really did have to redirect. I'll be honest with you, There was a lot of times where, and even now, like I'm still learning to redirect. There's a lot of times where I feel like, you know, I could be doing a lot better, but I'm just not where I want to be. Now, when I think of where I was, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm doing completely so much better. Now I just want to get my financials on track where I want them to be. And I think, you know, from there, that's when the whatever restaurant shit will happen, because that's when I'll be able to invest in my own business. And I think, you know, because I have a lot of things about me that, you know, I don't really care to like, I'll just show you guys, you know. I like to pole dance, I like to cook, I like to bake, I like to hang out with my dogs, I like to play my drums, I like to play Lego games, I like to read about quantum shit, I like to read about recipes, I like to read about herbal medicine, I like to learn about herbs, I like to learn about witchcraft and other religions and spiritual practices. I like to meditate for fun. I like to ride my motorcycle. I like to work on vehicles. I like to build things and learn how to build and learn how to work on my vehicles. I like to stunt on my motorcycle. What else do I like to do? Makeup, hair, aesthetic stuff, decorating. I like to make art pieces. So much stuff. So I just want to share that with you guys. And through this, there was a point in time when I was on Facebook, and I've always been about that, even on Facebook. Because I was saying earlier, like, I have a terrible memory, so I'm all about making memories as well. So I like video recording and stuff like that. So that's where TikTok and, like, social media, I'm like, okay, I like that, because it's a way for me to keep memories. And that's why it's nice, because I love my dog so much. And I always am taking pictures and whatnot. And it's kind of nice to, like, have more candid reactions of my dogs with me, so that I know when they're not here, I will look back on those and I will be so grateful that I have those. So, there's so many reasons why I do the TikTok stuff and whatever. I love editing. I love doing the get ready with me's. I like the girly stuff, which is why I complain, because I try not to complain about it. It does bum me out, but I'm determined to find the girl crowd. I just love the girlies who are like into like do a fridge restock with me, or and it's so organized, right? And you know, stuff like that, or like decorate my blah blah with me, or what's in my closet, what's in my purse. I love that shit. Grocery haul, blah blah. So that's kind of what I do. I just do what I love. I've always loved those. I've loved the get ready with me's. I love the sing-alongs. There's one lady in particular, I forget her name, but she does like these sing-alongs slash recipes. She really inspires me. Trisha Paytas, I've seen her on TikTok. She inspires me. Charlize, I've always loved her. She's great. She inspires me. I think Christy is her name. She goes shopping a lot. She inspires me. And, yeah. So, I kind of just did it because I was really just happy to goof around online and just kind of don't mind being funny and goofy online. And that's kind of how it started, is just me being funny. And if there's so many ways to go with social media, and you know, with TikTok, you need 1,000 people to go live, and then you need 10,000 people to enter the creator program, which is like you have to make videos 1 minute long. So like with that, a lot of people will do like either drama shows. So like, say you like watching TV, you can literally just record like the peak moments of like a TV show, like the climatic moments, and make sure it's past a minute and post a TikTok. Add your commentary in it, and sooner or later you're gonna have an account that's, you know, up there. You know, there's so many things that trend. Sports, police stuff. Like if you notice, like there's like the part 1, part 2, part 3 of like police like chases and like them interviewing people, and you know, stuff like that. That's so popular. So that's why people do that. You're bound to get views with that. And all that is, you know, taking YouTube videos and whatever. I don't really know how they do it, but I think it's just taking YouTube videos that are already like free to the public or whatever, and reposting them in short form on your page, you know, and writing a caption that captures people's attention. Hashtags are important. Learn your hashtags. People say to niche down, you absolutely can niche down. If you want to niche down, niche down. I don't niche down because when I'm burnt out on that niche, where can I turn? Right? So for me, I don't niche down because I want to be able to, if I'm burnt out on, I don't know, vlogging, then I can just turn to streaming. And if I'm burnt out on streaming, I can turn to photo shoot, whatever. Right now I'm doing all of them. And that's why it's kind of taken me it's been a little bit rocky because I'm like trying to find my footing to do all of them at once because I don't have anyone helping me. I wish I could, but I'll get there. I'll hire an assistant soon. I hope I'll get there. And honestly, I have no one to thank but you guys. I don't know if I said that right, but you guys are the main reason I can thank for that. So I'm grateful because I just never thought this, you know, would be the direction I would go. And honestly, if I can make it and become my own investor with my restaurant, I think that will prove a lot to myself and to others that you can do it. And that's the whole point of this is I do preach that people are special. Everybody is special. Everybody is unique. And that's why you can go viral. That's exactly why you can go viral. And you might think you're not, but all it takes is being a little, it takes being you online, or it just takes finding out what you like that everybody else likes. And you can use that to go viral. So maybe you like sports. You can use sport clips to go viral. Maybe you like police encounters. You can do that. Maybe you like true crime stuff. You can use those from YouTube and go viral with that. There's so many ways. For me, I just have always with Facebook, like I said before, like I've always, whenever I've had an issue with something that my ex would do, I would go to a friend and I'd be like, hey, this is happening. You know, I would be completely honest, my side, their side. If I threw some shit across the room, because I used to be a thrower, I used to throw shit, I would tell them, like, I would not leave that out because I know that's wrong, but like, why is it inciting this reaction? What is going on, kind of thing, you know? And so at a certain point, I think I learned, you know, that's when I wasn't being authentic to myself. I was being surrounded by people that were not good for me. And I think a lot of people don't start social media because they're surrounded by people who judge them. You got to forget about that. You got to forget about it, because how I think of it, there's certain ways I've put this into my mind. How I think of it is, you know, especially if you don't have a degree of any sort, what way are you going to be able to make like 10K, 20K months without a degree? You know, social media is a great way. And what was I saying before? I forget. But anyone can go viral, okay? It just takes really you being you, and whether that be you being on camera or, you know, you doing something that just aligns with you. You know, there's a lot of people who just do TikTok shop stuff. That's why I kind of separated my accounts, because I love TikTok shop. I love it. I will probably be purchasing from it more than Amazon in the future. I really think, I've always thought this, that they're going to be Amazon's competitor. But they do ride a fine line. I think, you know, AliExpress and stuff is great, but they do have this thing with coupons and deals and stuff that's just like too much in your face. Too many. It's a little chaotic. Hi, sweet. I know, I'll let you out in a bit. I promise. I'll let you out in a bit, okay? I know. And then I gotta put your guys' soup away and eat some garlic. Ugh. I love you. Oh, careful. I love you so much. You sweet boy. You okay? You're so cute. 1 second. Oh, okay. So I was talking about my Facebook though. So like I would use my Facebook because I was always friends with my friends, like my in real life friends. They'd be on my Facebook. So at that point, I never really had people who followed me, you know. So I would post statuses like, "Hey, like I'm going through this right now," and it wasn't like ever to be like throwing someone under the bus. It was more like understand the situation, right? So like I would put everything in there of what's going on, and people would comment, and I would gain insight of like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What's happening, kind of thing, because I didn't really understand because I grew up Mormon, and growing up Mormon, you're taught that like you go find a man and mold yourself to be what he wants you to be, essentially. And for a bit, like I was trying to prove to these loser dudes that like, oh, look at, I have everything to offer. They knew that. They fucking knew that. Are you kidding me? They just, they had to keep it under control, you know, because they were doing shicey shit behind scenes. So, but that's really kind of when I first started going viral on Facebook. I went viral for my apartment. Um, I don't think anybody would really know, but truthfully, I think I started a few trends online. um, and then I think is when I started a new profile, and like people found me again, and they were happy to find me because they were telling me how I've really helped them with like domestic violence situations and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, cool. Like I didn't know that. I'm so grateful you told me because that inspires me. So thanks for being you. Hope things are better. You're strong as fuck. And if that's you, you're strong as fuck. I know. I will let you out in a bit. I know. I got the beefy boy. Hi. My little house wolf. What's up? I don't have anything for you. Oh, I love you, buddy. Yes, you are. Who's the beefy boy? Who's the beefy boy? The beefy boy. The beefy boy. Anyway, so, I've really learned through this that what is important when you start your social media journey is understanding who your market is, or who your community is, or who is the main target, right? You know, a lot of dudes will be like, yeah, but I'm not like a hot girl, I'm not a tattooed girl. You don't have to be. Do you know how many girls, like, first off, girls don't need much to get excited. So if you want to be that kind of dude, you literally can just wear a mask and have a TikTok account. Do you know how many dudes do that? And just sit there and talk to girls on live with a mask on. Okay? You could fucking just choose a character, play a character. You can just be you. You can read. You can dress up in a suit and read. Do you know how many women would just like book talk? Book talk is so huge, right? So there's so many things you can do. You don't have to be, you know, tall. You don't have to be a certain looking way. You don't have to be tattooed. You don't have to be a girl. Like I said, you know, social media, the great thing about it is you are in the line of fire of everyone to have access at you, which sounds crazy, but then you get the people who really resonate with you, your community kind of thing, right? And it was, like I said, before I moved into this home, I ended up, my OF got shut down. They would not tell me why, and I asked so many times, and their response was, oh, we can't tell you because your account has been terminated, so we can't see. And I'm like, bitch, the fuck you mean? So, like, I was just like, whatever. So I turned to streaming because I had my TikTok account. There, like, people are like, oh, go get a job. I physically could not walk. I was literally bedbound in this bed. Thank God for this comfy bed. By the way, Amazon has amazing mattresses. Do not spend $5K on a mattress, okay? Just get one from Amazon. I shit you not. They're so good. I have been sick so fucking sick. In the last, like, 4 years, I've been super sick. Like, the sickest that I've been in my life, I feel like. So this bed has been so good to me. Amazon, baby! Anyway, so, yeah, I ended up right before I was supposed to move into this home, I ended up losing my OF account, and that's where I was making most of my income. So, I still moved because I was in the hood and people were stealing my motorcycle, fucking with my car. It was just not a healthy environment for me. There was mold everywhere. I would have never healed, that's for sure. If I didn't move, I would have never physically been this close to remission because there's tons of mold there. So that's a fact. And I'm really grateful I did because when I was there, I talked about this before, but when I was moving, I was moving out of my apartment and I had applied for homes like 6 months in advance before I moved. And they waited till like my lease was done to even talk to me about moving. And I was like, what the fuck? So anyway, there wasn't very many options according to them. And so I gave them my pay stubs. I told them, you know, what my prerequisites was. Like, I don't want to pay more than $2,200. You know, I want to be able to, you know, have a garage and stuff like that, and my disability, blah blah. So I didn't apply for any homes. I did not apply for any homes. I just gave them my info, which is even more annoying because that's all they needed to just move forward, and I gave them that months beforehand. But regardless, they end up. I tell this story in a few videos back, but I was applying for a lot of places outside of the company that I was with, Street Lanes. So I was applying with other companies. Funny enough, I applied with this company that I'm now with. Street Lanes transferred me in January to Invitation Homes. So, yeah. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, by the way, I'm so sad. Sierra's birthday passed, and I got her gift, right? It's this. Some Southern belle of a woman. She was so pretty. She looked like maybe she smelled like strawberries. I don't know. Very Southern belle. Strawberries and butter cake. I don't know. She was like, if you want to smell like the perfect vanilla, this is the perfect lotion. And I was like, oh my god, like, I trust her. I bought it. Tell me why this shit smells like fucking, you know the smell of unscented lotion? First off, that stuff smells like ass. Why does unscented stuff smell so god awful? It smells like that mixed with baby wipes. Ugh, ugh. And Play-Doh. And Play-Doh. Do you want to know how much this shit costs? $50. 50. You heard that right. I got it for my best friend for her birthday, along with a body wash that was like $25. So I was like trying to put together like a skincare basket. Now, if she puts this on, she's gonna be walking around smelling like fucking Play-Doh and doo-doo pretty much. I told her to forgive me. Gourmand? I don't think Gourmand is supposed to smell like that. And they're like, oh yeah, it smells like the top of a creme brulee. I'm like, that is not what I'm getting. It smells like fucking Play-Doh, baby wipes, and unscented lotion mixed in one. Did they forget the scent in mine? I don't know. It smells like butthole. It really fucking does. I have to do a review of this on TikTok because I need to warn people. Don't listen to that lady! I'm telling you! Unless I got the wrong one, but I'm so sad because this was supposed to be like a really good gift for my bestie, and she needs it. She needs a good self-care basket. So anyway, I'm bummed about that. But anyway. So, what was I saying? Fuck. But yeah, I think with social media, with social media, I think the one thing that I've also learned is that, you know, I've seen a lot of families make it on social media pretty big. The one family that I recently learned about was the 8 passengers, whatever the hell. And they were getting like 20 million in donations. And I was like, and if someone who's abusing their kids like that could get 20 million, then I'm like, okay, let me work at this. Let me do this. Because if I could be that person, then A, I'd be giving back to my community immensely. B, then I would be able to fund my own restaurant. C, compound. D, farm. I'm excited for that shit. But nonetheless, that's kind of how my mind works now. And people will hate on me. They say, get job, get job. And for me, I can't just walk out and get a job. I can't even sit like this. I can't sit like this for more than 2 hours. My ankles will swell. So either there's a job that, you know, will supply me a laptop and I can work in bed. That's fine. But you have to be prepared for me to call in when literally like sitting up or laying down is like excruciating still. So that's where, to me, maybe if you have good health, it's best for you to, you know, rely on jobs. But because I can't rely on jobs, I barely can walk to the bathroom most days. So, you know, and some people are like, oh, just use a wheelchair. I don't want to sit in a wheelchair. I know that seems like, you know, well, that sounds like, I don't know. But I don't want to succumb to a wheelchair yet. That's like, I've been there. I don't want to do that again. I want to resist doing that as long as I can until I can get into remission. So, and to be honest, it's not as easy to get a wheelchair as you think, and they're expensive. And even though my home says wheelchair accessible, it's not. But, oh yeah, back to that story though. Like, with my home, I remember applying for different places, and, I remember waking up on a Monday morning, and I just felt utterly defeated. I remember I would manifest so hard, visualize so hard, do so much gratitude work and things like that, like all the core beliefs that I have of my current manifestation shit. And so I was so confused because I felt it in my bones that I needed to pack. So I did. Everything was packed and sitting in my living room. So I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm like really upset on Monday because I get into my emails and I'm getting all these rejection emails like, no, you didn't get approved for this place. You didn't get accepted. No approval. Blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. What am I going to do? I thought I was supposed to pack. Like, was I going crazy? You know, am I crazy? And I find myself constantly doubting myself in my journey like that because I will constantly question like, oh my God, am I crazy? You know, to believe this. And I always tell the people watching my stuff, like, there's always a fine line. You got to keep your one foot in reality and one foot in the spiritual realm is all I can say. And Christians do it. People who have spiritual beliefs do it. And I always contribute spiritual beliefs to just the way we cope with being on this God-forsaken planet. It sucks here. It's the best way we can conceptualize why, you know. But I woke up that day just crying and reading those emails, and I just felt so defeated. And I remember putting my phone down and just crying in my bed and just being like, why? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I thought I was on the right track. I don't fucking get it. And then I just cried a little bit more, and then I picked up my phone and boom, there was, you've been approved. And I was like, what? Is this a joke? Like, is this fake? Like, literally at first I thought it was like a scam. And I was like, what? Because I didn't apply for anything. But it was from the people that I was renting with. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, so when can I move in? And they're like, well, pay your security deposit, and then you move in, blah, blah. So that's how I got here. Very magically. And then during that time I was like, okay, well, that's kind of like at the peak of my price range. Can I look at other options? And they gave me like the junkiest places to look at. One place had been broken into and it had like crusty, stiff, dirty socks. Ugh, I don't even want to know why. On the front patio, and the back door had been busted through the glass. On top of that, you could easily look over my yard wall, and I just feel like there's an apartment that would look over my yard wall, and I just feel like it would be easy to rob me. I was already having issues with people. They stole my motorcycle, and they tried taking the cat out of my car, the catalytic converter. But I had to get out of there just for my safety's sake. And then I was dating this awful dude who just would not leave me the fuck alone, regardless of a restraining order. Kept dropping shit off at on my patio and stuff. It was so annoying. Kept texting me, and like I would get rental cars at the time because my car was all fucked up and I didn't have this car yet. And so I'd get rentals to go do my laundry once a month. So I'd use Turo. Shout out to Turo, Turo. Love them. I would get a rental from them, very affordable. It's like someone like me, like you could rent my car for like $30 a day, right? So I love them. So good. They saved me. But I would get that, and he would come by and then text me and be like, "Oh wow, already you have someone over." And I'm like, "Get the fuck away! This is the same dude that's literally A, suffocated me, and B, threw me across my bedroom with my king size mattress while I was pregnant with his child." So, all because I said I could not work and I need him to work and like make up for the whatever, like help out. And he's like, "Yeah, well, I can't do that." I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna be with someone who can't." And he got pissed off and threw me in the bed across the room, and then refused to fix the bed. And I couldn't pick it up at the time because I couldn't even walk. I was worse than bedbound. I was pregnant, and I couldn't even crawl to the bathroom. Like, I had to scoot myself on a pillow across the floor to the bathroom, and that took forever. So, and that's when I was losing all that weight because I just was vomiting all the time. Anything I ate, anything I drank, I just vomit, and I lost all that weight from like 115 to 87 pounds while I was pregnant. So I had to message my friend. Well, I actually posted something on Facebook, and my friend Curtis, who's now my friend, he came and he helped me fix my mattress, and he actually helped me clean up my room a little bit because I just couldn't move around very well. So he helped me kind of clean under my bed and fix my mattress so that I could sleep on it. And shout out to Curtis. But yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, so now I'm here, away from that psycho dude, and just kind of doing my thing. I'm trying to really just prove the philosophies that I live by, and obviously I've got to prove them by living by them, so I do that, and I hope you guys can see that. But I also want to teach you guys the ways that I think and what I've done. And I know a lot of people with chronic illness struggle with finances, and you don't have to. You can do so many things on social media. Say, like, I remember my brother, he used to be so good at Legos, and I always thought, like, oh my god, if he could just live with me, even as a kid. I remember I wish he lived with me when we were 18, 19 or something, or he would live with me, but I wish he did longer so that I could have started a YouTube channel for him and stuff, because he builds Legos so good. He can build like these extreme, like, I guarantee you he could build that Millennium Falcon one. He just like looks at the box and can build it. I don't know how he does it. It's literally crazy. So I was always like, YouTube was a thing. So I was always like, this guy needs a YouTube channel for real. Like, I wish I could just like let him stay at my home and just buy him a set of fucking Legos and let him build away, you know? You can do anything you want. If you have a special interest, if you have something that you collect a lot of and you know a lot about, post about it, okay? And don't let the idea of like family, friends, like tear you down. Who cares, okay? Because what if you start making 10K months just because you started posting about stuff that you love? And now you have financial security and you have no worries in the world, you know? And that could be you. And granted, I'm not there yet, but I'm pushing to get there, and I want to prove that anyone can get there, you know? And you don't have to go the route that I'm going, okay? Absolutely not. This is not for everyone, right? But there's tons of routes to go, you know? And even then, maybe you want to be maybe a home baker, or maybe you sell furniture online. You know, TikTok and learning to maybe do tutorials and stuff, starting YouTube and stuff. Like for my dad, for instance. If I tell people, you're not my friend if I don't tell you to start your social media journey, okay? It's because I've had so many blessings with this. I would not be here if it weren't for the people who supported my journey. And that includes you guys watching, so thank you. But for real, and people think, oh, I have to be a certain way to get that community. No, just be you. You're probably not going to have the same community that I have, but just be you. Just be you. Figure out what you want to drive forward with, you know? and what kind of people you want to attract, so then you know what to drive forward with. And for me, I was really lacking community, and I really wanted to find, with this illness, it's really isolating. I get sick, I don't want to bother anyone, and I just got a lot of worries on my plate when I get sick. I got to figure stuff out, I got my dogs, I got bills to pay for, and making sure I'm not going to go homeless, and it's hard when you can't move and stuff, and yeah, so I just tried to make the most of it. I really did. And that's where, like, at a time when I was going through eviction in my apartment when I was pregnant, I just sat with it. Sounds crazy, but I just sat with it. I really wanted to internalize what that felt like, because I didn't ever want to be there again. I didn't want to ever be in that low of a situation. Now, I did go through eviction again, like, a few months ago, but that was because of an error on the people's end, and I represented myself actually in that, and ended up getting it ruled in my favor. So, but to be fair, I just have to point that out. I don't want to be, whatever. You guys wouldn't have known if I never said it, but nonetheless, I feel like you could determine it however you want. So, but I was going through eviction in the same way. I didn't get evicted, but like I was behind on payments, and then I was able to come up with the payments. I was able to pay it off and everything, but I still attended the first hearing. And that's where the adoption agency helped me out and everything. So I didn't whatchamacallit? Yeah, I didn't get evicted. So, but nonetheless, I really sat there and was like, okay, what's going on? What are these patterns that are exhibiting? How did I get here? Where am I at fault in this? Like, what's going on, kind of thing, So I sat there with it, and that's unfortunately part of, I would say, the biggest factor. There were so many big factors with putting my son into an adoptive home, and I'll get into a story time with that. But that one's difficult because I talk about things so easy, people think it's not difficult to deal with. A lot of this stuff is still difficult to deal with. The adoption, my illness, dealing with this eviction shit, because I'm still dealing with this dumbass company in different ways. So people think that when I talk about this stuff so easy that it means like it is easy, but it's not. I talk about this stuff because it's hard, and I want people to know that other people go through hard things in life, okay? That was a difficult decision for me to make with the adoption thing, and part of the reason was because I couldn't work. And if I asked Justin to work, he'd surely kill me. And at that point, he was the kind of dude where he would drive into oncoming traffic, like threatening to kill me while my dogs were in the backseat. He, as a matter of fact, abused my dogs. And I think if you're willing to abuse animals, that's someone who has complete apathy, zero respect for any kind of creature, human, anything. So, he is the kind of person that if I started dating someone, if I had custody of my son, if I started dating someone, he would take my son from me and like drive into oncoming traffic, threatening to unalive my kid and himself because of what I'm doing, dating another guy or whatever. That's the kind of guy he is, okay? So that was the biggest reason. But another reason was because what am I going to do? Be homeless and sick and die? No. So I made the difficult decision, and if it weren't for the adoptive family and the adoption agency, I wouldn't be alive, my son wouldn't be alive, and I guess my dogs wouldn't be alive, because either they would have been surrendered to a shelter or we would have been homeless and all died on the streets, because I'm not meant for the streets like that. So, and at that point, like I said, with my illness, like I couldn't walk. All my joints were swollen. My fingers, shoulders, elbows, but you can't take certain medicine when you're pregnant, and I didn't, like I said, I'll get into this in another video. I didn't know I could get pregnant, to be honest. I was told I was infertile. So that was news to me. But anyway, so regardless, part of my journey with social media is to show you guys the difficult things. But the difficult things, they shape you into the person that you are, right? And so I hope to teach people that, life is going to be difficult. Choose your heart. It's going to be difficult staying in a job that underpays you. It's also going to be difficult to start social media journey. It's going to be difficult more internally though, because there's a lot of internal belief systems that you have to knock over. Because I remember at first when people started donating, I felt like I had to pay them back. And now I understand what donations are, and I'm so beyond grateful for that. Um, and I think a lot of people, there'd be people who, I don't say a lot. I don't get a lot of haters, but they are there. I get more good people than haters, obviously, but the haters that do hate on me, it's always, stop freeloading, stop this, stop that. Listen, if you create work of art, whatever it might look like, if you give info and somebody finds that so valuable they want to pay you, so be it. So be it. People just don't like that they aren't in that line to receive that because they're stuck in the whatever 9 to 5, and that's where I really recommend like for instance my bestie. So she wants to do the social media stuff, but she's nervous. But she also does a full-time job, and you can kind of work into your job the social media stuff. My friend Zorby, he does trucking. There's tons of trucking content, so you can do your job with your content. Office work, people love keyboard sounds. People love office attire. People love to see what office jobs look like. 1 second, I gotta take the dogs out. I don't want them to shit in the living room. Okay, we're back. I don't know. They're coming up to me a lot, so I can tell that means they really, really need to go. So, and they went fast, so I guess they did need to go. But anyway, I just think, like I said, the social media is always gonna be there. I think, as much as people want to wish and hope for, the destruction of the internet and stuff like that. Unfortunately, most of our world, I think, operates on that. I hope you didn't see my chonies there. But I don't think it's disappearing anytime soon. I really don't. So I think, to be honest, leaning into it is the best way to go. And just kind of learning it. And even if you, like I said, if you don't want to post this on, like, this kind of stuff on social media, that's fine. You could even do lawn care. There's so many social media lawn care pages, right? If you like renovations, maybe you're a plumber, you're knowledgeable with plumbing, and you could teach TikTok about plumbing, You could be the TikTok plumber. There's so many, that's where I say, like, everybody has unique qualities about them, and everybody is special. And if you just really, believe in yourself and just kind of do your own thing, who cares what parents are going to think? Who cares what family, friends, coworkers, whatever, disregard them. Just kind of do your own thing, focus on you and what makes you happy. And there's certain ways that algorithms work, and that's where you need to do hashtags, use trending sounds, and post consistently at certain times. But those are really the main things. I don't say niche down, because if you get burnt out, you can kind of, so that's where I say, like, share who you are with your community. Do you have to share every detail like I do? Probably not. I just do. So, you get, the beautiful thing about social media is that you get to determine what you do. So maybe you like to bake cakes, maybe you're really good at making cookies or whatever. That's what you could do, and you gotta just be consistent, because people like consistency. They like seeing, that person on their page is like a normal part of their life kind of thing. So, yeah. And like I said, if you guys have any questions about, like, specific tips and tricks, let me know, and I'll be happy to help out. I'll probably do segments on, like, okay, how do I go viral on TikTok? How did I go viral on Instagram? How did I, do my OF, whatever, marketing tips and stuff like that? Because I know when I started, it was really difficult, but I think the benefit of starting with that was I got to determine what price value things were. And that's where it was difficult, because no one ever tells you, like, okay, you know, label your worth with money. You know, how much would you sell a picture of yourself for? And you never think of it like that. You know, you're like, oh shit. So at first I was like, okay, like what, $100 per picture? And so I did. Now, very different, but nonetheless, there's a market for everyone out there. You just have to kind of tap into it. And social media is really where it's at. Social media is going to catapult whatever you want to do. And for me, it was just to find a community. And that's kind of what I'm doing with YouTube too, is to find my community and trying to help people and bring in like-minded people who can offer new and refreshing perspectives, and people who can help with, you know, things that I'm looking to gain insight on, like maybe holistic health, or maybe they know more about religion and they can add insight to the conversation, you know, or more about social media, because I don't know everything. But at this point, you know, before I was really just fiddle farting around with it. Like, I was just like, oh cool, I went viral, how cool. I didn't do anything with it. I just was like, whatever. What do you do? So I would just kind of ignore it, to be honest. Now I know I could have utilized that to catapult like my OF stuff and whatever. I didn't know that then. I just thought it was cool that I was going viral. It really healed a part of me, because I was like, wow. For the longest time, like, I was with people that really tore me down, and dating people that tore me down. So it made me feel like, wow, what? People like my shit? That's cool. Thanks. So, it wasn't really about the money for me, because that healed a different part of me on a different level that probably money could never, you know, you could never pay for. But yeah, so now, I know that there's a lot of money in social media. I know that I can catapult what I have and get myself financial stability. And once I reach that, it means A, yes, I have financial stability. Yes. B, that means, like I keep saying, I know it's redundant, but if I can do it, you can do it. And that's the whole point. Is like, I can preach to you guys all I want, but I don't want it to be like this bunk ass course where it's like, oh, let me teach you how to earn $1 million with social media by buying my course. And that's actually how I'm making $1 million, is because so many people believe this lie that I make $1 million, and they just buy my course to make $1 million. And I just tell them how I make $1 million, which is just selling courses like that. That is so scammy and everything. I hate that. So I just, you know, I really believe in this whole philosophy, and I've said this before, that I don't think you have to manipulate people to get good things in life. I think if you're just a good person, the energy will come back to you. And a lot of good people have bad boundaries, okay? So you have to be a good person. You know, how I think of it is like, help people without expecting anything in return. And if you can't expect anything, if you can't get in that mindset, you're surrounded by the wrong people. Because I remember the people that I was with, it was very transactional, and a lot of the people that I was with were very narcissistic. So, kind of makes sense, but nonetheless, I think for me, you know, I don't want to just blab and be like, blah, 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 do this, do this, do this. I always have liked to show people and even just do it with them, you know. Like, I will never tell you to push a boulder. I will never sit on top of that boulder and tell you to push. I will just be right there pushing with you, or if not, pushing first and teaching you how to push if it's a certain way or whatever, you know, and then being there with you. So I'm very adamant on that, making a good leader, and that's been my leading style from the get-go, and it's been why I've been so successful with competitions when I was a commander of certain things and stuff like that with ROTC. So that was a big reason why I was successful, because I never let being a leader get to my head, and I always understood that this is like teamwork. It's best to be on the same level, you know. A lot of people lead with ego, and they want that, like, I want to be viewed up here. I don't give a shit about that. First off, I'm short. I'm 4'11". People are always looking down on me. So, I just like to show people that I'm there with them. You know, I'm there to, you know, be right there by their side. So that's kind of what I'm doing. You know, I want to tell you guys what I believe, and then I want to show you guys what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and why that follows with what I'm saying. And if you guys see that with me saying it and me doing it and it happening, you know, then I think what more proof than that is needed for people to get started on their journey. And maybe it's not social media. Whatever it might be, I just really preach being authentic, okay? At the end of the day, being authentic is what drives your happiness, what truly makes you happy, okay? So maybe it's not social media, but just all of these things could be applied to a normal job. And maybe you want a job that's better for you. Maybe you want to date someone different or something, and your parents want this for you, but you don't want to disappoint them. They're gonna love you regardless, and if they don't love you, then it was only transactional, okay? I hate to break it to you. So you deserve more than that. And I really do think, this is getting a little woo-woo spiritual, but I do, in my belief, I think a lot of us were black sheep born into traumatic families as like a lesson to learn that our family will come from community and not from our family. You know, some people get the blessing of having great families. A lot of us have dysfunctional families, and you know, there's a saying like dysfunctional families serve the most dysfunctional member of the family, just to kind of keep things at peace and enabling shit, whatever. So, yeah. Anyway, all I can say is that's why I keep thinking, like, if I can do this, you guys can do this. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon to do this stuff. It just takes people being authentic. And if you truly know what makes you happy and you know the direction you want to go and the shit that you love, it'll probably be easy for you. Now, if you know you want to just make money, easy, okay? That's easy. Just find some niche that you really like and get to working on posting those videos 3 times a day and finding the right hashtags and getting your people in, and sooner or later you're going to be making tons of money on TikTok. I do want to do that, honestly, but I don't have the time for it. I wish I could, but yeah, so, because I'm too busy doing my own shit, but it's possible. Tons of people make money that way. So we will see how this journey goes. I do love TikTok Shop. I want to continue with TikTok Shop and making money through TikTok Shop. I don't make a whole bunch, but I'd like to think with me sticking with it through this month, it'll finally feed my stuff to TikTok Shop people, and it just takes that one post. That's what it is. With posting, you have to be consistent until that one post blasts off, okay? It's all about appeasing the social media gods, okay? You got to play by their rules so they deem you safe, and they got to know kind of where to sort you, where to categorize you, okay? So they got to know, like, okay, what kind of media do you consume? So you got to consume the media on that app. That's why you have to be, like, active on the app. And then you have to be very strategic about your hashtags on where it should be feeding your videos to. And that'll push your videos to the people that you want to see your videos, right? But TikTok needs a little bit. It needs a few weeks of your videos to be able to know where to push them out. So you'll notice within the first week or the first 2 weeks that, you know, your videos will go from 200 to, you know, all of a sudden you're getting 1,000, 5,000 views. And that's just your sign to keep going, you know? And so it's a really easy game. It's consistent. And a lot of people, I'll go back to, you know, say, oh, go get a job. But, you know, the job market's hard. And if you work 3 months on just posting consistent videos 3 times a day, posting consistently and really strategically learning the algorithm, you can make a lot of money, you know. A lot of people do that. I could do that. Sometimes I think about doing that. I really do. But I'm so headstrong about, you know, preaching that you could do it with what's authentic to you. And that's, for me, it's stuff that I like to do with my TikTok shop and doing my YouTubes these ways and stuff like that. My TikTok's the way that I do. And honestly, I know if I keep it kosher clean, this next TikTok will really, really go well because my joints will be better. I'll be going out a lot. I'll be wearing cute outfits a lot. Hopefully income will be better. And just videos will be better on top of that. I really want to decorate my home. So that's my next thing to do. I think like 5K worth of decor is what I want to kind of get in here. I have a very different decorating style. So And you guys will join me on that journey. But nonetheless, there's so many ways you can make money on social media. I really am on this like spiritual journey as well as social media journey, so that's why I do mine the way I do it. But yeah, so I hope that's kind of like informative a little bit of, you know, my journey so far and why I do things. And like I say, if anything, you can do it too. Okay, it's meant to be so that you can go viral, so that you can make them more money. Going viral is not an insane art, okay? I hate these videos that make it seem like, oh, you gotta do this, this, and this, and this niche down, la la, to go viral. You don't have to do that, okay? I am proof of it, okay? I've been viral many times. Now, I'm just now learning I have to do something with that viralness, right? So now I know I can, and we'll go from there. But you guys are kind of in like the end of the end phase, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm on chapter 2 at the end, and we're about to hit chapter 3, and it's about to be real good, but we're at the like end of it, right? So that's kind of where I feel like I'm at, and that's why I want to kind of like build my base with the YouTube community, kind of give you guys my lore. And I might go through and relabel these series as my lore, so you guys can know which ones to go read and whatever, listen to or whatever when you get the time. And I also got to say thank you again for everyone who's been listening to my videos, and thank you for all the new people coming in. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for commenting and liking my videos. You guys are really great. Truly, like, I would not be building my channel without you guys. You guys are the main reason why my channel is building. King of Cups. But yeah. So, and I know a lot of people, you know, they worry about trolls and stuff, and I tell you, haters, people who are unhappy hate, okay? I don't know in what way they're unhappy, doesn't matter. Happy people don't go hating, okay? You will never find me randomly looking at people's videos and hating on them. It's just not a thing. Happy people are too worried about being happy. They're too focused on making sure they stay at that happy level, because there's so much negativity around. It is, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it takes intention. You have to be intentional to really stay positive. When someone cuts you off and shit, like when you want to be angry, you have to flip that switch and just think of a positive thought. Like, well, you know, they're driving pretty crazy. They're probably going to get in a wreck. And I'm just glad I'm not the one getting in a wreck with them. You know, stuff like that. So, yeah. I really think anyone can go viral. I think it's just about appeasing TikTok, okay? Some people like to do hooks because it's easier to manage that way. So there's so many ways you can do it. I am not the hook type, so if you think hooks would be good for you, I recommend, I don't have any specific people, but I would recommend looking up other people. But for me, I do more of the chaotic way where I don't have hooks. I just kind of do whatever I want and just trust that I'll be fed to the right people and that I will be taken care of financially, social media wise, whatever. Even then, like, you know, just trusting that my OF account would be returned, and like it was, you know, like I had an Instagram account that got taken down and it got returned and stuff like that. So I just kind of trust what's meant for me is meant for me, as crazy as that sounds. But you can't control that shit, because so many trolls, they'll just flood your page and troll you, be mean to you, try to get you shut down, report your page. Just because they don't like how you look, because they're jealous that you have a following, because you get attention, because of this, because of that. It doesn't matter. They could hate you even if you try to do everything to appease them, just because it's you. So at this point, I'm just grateful for the good people who come in and chill on my page, and they're really nice and comment good things. But when you do this journey, just know the trolls are inevitable. But that means you're doing something right. So just, you know, I always reply to them sarcastically. It's fun that way. I just make light of the situation, though. Use their comments to, you know, push traffic sometimes. Other than that, I pay them no attention. For the most part, I just kind of block them at this point. But nonetheless, Yeah, that's kind of my social media work content creating journey. Um, and like I said, anyone can do this. Not it doesn't take a specific type of person, okay? Even if you wanted to do OF, you could look anyway. There is someone for everyone, baby, okay? Um, so let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to help as much as I can. I'm not a guru with this stuff, but I know how to do it now at this point. So I'm ready to give any insight, any info I can to people of the YouTube world. And I just kind of try to give you guys all the info in like one straight shot because that's kind of how I am. I just want to know it all in one straight shot. So, yeah. I was gonna give you guys a smoothie video today, like I said, and then a garlic video, but I didn't. I'm gonna do that tomorrow, so you guys will get that tomorrow, along with another vlog. So what is tomorrow's vlog? I don't know. We'll see when I wake up. It might be people pleasing. It might be, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I feel like talking about. Maybe it'll just be a random yap sesh. But nonetheless, thanks for listening to my stuff. I hope this helps someone. I just hope this encourages someone to start their social media journey and really trust in yourself, trust that you're special, trust that you're awesome and unique enough to bring in a community, okay? Because you are. Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has something about them that can bring in a community, okay? There's a lot of people who are like-minded with you, and even if they're not like-minded, they just appreciate who you are. I have a lot of people who don't think the same things as me. They don't agree with my thoughts particularly. They don't look anything like me. You would never think that they would appreciate anything about me, but they do. They appreciate my artwork. They appreciate how I look, etc., etc. So, never discount, the people who would be your supporters. So, even haters are your supporters. But I just hope this inspires someone to maybe consider starting their social media journey, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for social media. Like I said, lost my account and then relied on streaming. And because of streaming, I was able to keep my bills up and keep a roof over my head. As a matter of fact, because of streaming, I was able to get myself a car. So I do pay it off. It's like finance, but I was able to get a car nonetheless, like do a down payment through gifting and donations of people on the stream. So I am so beyond grateful to the people on my stream and social media. They changed my life, and that's why I'm like, oh my god, really, I think a lot of people would benefit from this. And it really takes being your authentic self. I mean, some people aren't really authentic, but I think you have to at least know what makes you happy. You have to know kind of what direction you want to go that would make you happy. 5 years down the line, whatever. And that's where I was very intentional about how I started my stuff, because I knew 5 years down the line where I wanted to be and what I wanted to be doing. So I think anyone can do this. You just have to be consistent. You have to know how to play by the rules, and you have to just, be determined to get to that certain goal. But I think everybody has a community for them. So, and that's where I started, and I didn't think I would have one, but here I am. I have one, and it's crazy. I have literally the best people I know in my community. I've never had this much support in my life. I've never known as many good people as I have, except for now in my life. I don't know if I said that right, but you get what I mean. But nonetheless, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, because I think a lot of people need just like the littlest bit of encouragement to start their journey, and I think the idea that if I started this journey and I'm this far into it and I'm doing pretty decent, I'd like to think that you guys would be able to be in the same spot, especially if you're watching this. And what's even funnier is with my OF account, I was just randomly talking to my stream one day, and I was like, yeah, I need to work on my OF. I know. And I'll get back to that appeal. I'll message them this week. And then literally, like the next day, I got an email from them. I was going to the doctor. I was waiting for the elevator, and I just look at my email, and boom, they're like, your account has been reinstated, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, man. I think I know why. It's because I post memes. I post memes on mine. If you know me, I love posting memes. I love memes. I posted them on my OF, and some of them have other people in them. And I think it was triggering, like, the AI filter that there's, like, other people on my account, but I didn't get, like, waivers signed or anything. Understandable. I understand. I should have known better, right? But I think that's why, because I ended up posting a meme and they took it down for me saying that it involves someone else and I don't have a waiver for them. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Shit. So I think that's why they couldn't get back to me, but I think that's why they still haven't gotten back to me. I asked them, they still haven't got back to me. Now that my account is up, but regardless, I'm so grateful that it's up. Oh my god, because I'm grateful to take on this new direction and really just make a good living for myself and create that financial stability, set up some good financial stuff for my kiddo, and just get started with my dreams of owning a restaurant. And yeah, helping my community out, feeding the homeless, helping the veterans, helping the low income families. Because I really want to do that with my restaurant, with the food, extra food, community driven events that I want to do, etc., etc. I want to be able to, you know, house the homeless and help the veterans out, homeless veterans especially, and eventually low-income families in the area, just with food and housing and stuff. And maybe I honestly would love to own my own apartment complex. I would love to own it and make it the right place to live. I would not want to slumlord it up, because truthfully my mindset is people would happily live there. They would treat it right. They would want to be long-term tenants because it's a good place to live. It's not slumlorded. We tend to the needs, you know, as people need them. It doesn't take forever, and we don't half-ass them, you know, stuff like that. I'm really inspired by Hershey because he did that kind of for his people. So he became really successful and built like a town essentially, and I would love to do the same. I really would love to. I think I do have a good guide for what I want for humanitarian aspect of the world. I love that. But that's what I want to end up doing in a kind of sense. I just really want to prove that you can be a good person, and that energy will come back to you, and the universe will take care of you. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to exploit. You don't have to take advantage of people or anything. You can just do good by people and still get the same in return, if not better. And I'm just trying to prove that. And if I just die before I can prove it, then whatever. But I want to die trying. So I'm gonna die trying to prove many things. So we'll see. We'll see until I'm dead. But that's my content creating journey. What I want it to be in a few years is essentially like how I see it going is just always having it, and eventually taking it into the kitchen, into the restaurant where I'm working, and my bar and stuff like that. And eventually, like, I would love to have a compound, like I said, and invite my family and friends, and like I want to Airbnb and stuff like that, and people could work the Airbnb, and this could be something that would be live streamed, you know, people in the kitchen, or you know what it's like to turn down the rooms, and we would have someone specific to edit these, because I'm sure there's people in there who just would rather edit videos, because I wouldn't mind that. If someone gave me videos to edit, I would just edit them and chill out all day, like whatever. You know, it's meant to be a place where people can really discover what they love and live to their authenticness, and not feel like they're in survival, and lead out of love and happiness. And whether they're there forever, whether they're there for 3 years, I don't care. I just want to be a sanctuary for people to put down everything that they've been through, because this world is really putting people through too much, and we're expected to just bear it. And you know, if you put a machine, I guarantee if you tried to assimilate a machine to our experiences and put it through that, all of what we've been through, even as a single human, like in the lower class, dealing with all these life crises, world crises, economical crises, everything. I think if it were a robot, it would break down. And we're expected just to be like, oh, no big deal, no big deal. And I say that all the time, that like a lot of the trauma that we've endured in our life is really from watching stuff on TV. It's not normal to watch war. It's not normal to see people dying and things like that. Like, they do that on purpose. They do it on purpose because it's driving fear into you. Survival, scared, stress. So I remember in high school, I hated the way the news made me feel. It made me feel anxious and helpless, and I hated it. So I just stopped watching the news. I couldn't watch it anymore. So it's been literally years. I graduated in 2013, and I think I stopped watching the news like 2, 3 years before that, so 2010. So it's been, yeah, almost 15 years that I haven't watched the news. I don't care for it. And then when I go to my grandfather's house, he has the news on, and he's like, "Can you believe this?" And it's like complete fake propaganda bullshit. And I'm like, "You really believe this shit?" What in the world? Anyway, so I really want to use my social media for good. I really want to, you know, I tell my stream this a lot, but I really admire certain people on social media. I like Keith Lee, I like Mr. Beast, I like Jimmy Darts and Nate because I like the way they help their community and the homeless. I like Keith Lee because he does food reviews. I like Mr. Beast because he kind of made it his own, and he is like very financially successfully wealthy, right? So I want to be all of that combined, but also adding my own flair to it, right? Just being me. So I want to be able to do all of that, the food stuff and learning new stuff, but also taking guys into my kitchen and cooking with you guys and teaching you guys the things that I know and helping you guys out in whatever way I can. Even if it's just to be a place to hang out, no judgment. Okay, I do my best to make sure there's no trolls in here. Unfortunately, YouTube used to have that feature to block people, but now you can't, so that's annoying. They need to bring that back. Petition to bring it back. But I do really strive to make my spaces really safe for people, so that people feel accepted and stuff. And, you know, it's a place that they can come in and just know that, you know, if they want to talk about a job promotion, then we'll congratulate them. You know, if they're feeling down, then we'll sit there and listen to what they want to talk about, you know, and be there for them. It's just meant to be like they were my community when I needed them, and it's meant to be that community for other people who need them now, right? So I'm trying to open up that community to people who need it. And just a reminder, you can check out my Discord. The Discord, I'm not in it much right now, but I will be. It goes off and on. Sometimes I get really busy. It's hard to keep up with Discord. But there is a Discord. Feel free to hang out with a Discord fam. Halloween is coming up, so I want to try to do 30 days of Halloween movies. We did that last time. We didn't do all 30 days, but we did watch movies on the Discord. So yeah. Feel free to hang out on Discord, though. There's plenty of channels if you want to promote your channel, if you're new at social media and stuff. Feel free to promote your shit in there. If you want people to watch you in there that, you know, won't troll you, who are nice, who are respectful, and you need someone to watch you with your first stream or something, or you just, you know, need help or whatever, that's what the Discord is for. And it's just for people to chitter chat if you're bored and you want to hang out with someone, chat with the crew and see what everyone's up to, you know. It's a space where you can talk about things, share ideas. We have a recipe tab, animal tab, where you can show your pets and stuff. So feel free to join that if you do want to get started on your social media journey. That'll probably help you. Even if you're not getting started on your social media journey, you can join Discord. Some people say it doesn't work for them when they try to join. So try joining in a tab in the browser. But that's kind of my social media journey. That's where I started, where I came from, and kind of where I want to go with this. And hopefully during this, if you guys watch and see what I'm doing, and I really would love to just, all I work towards is these goals. So I just would love to show you guys that you guys can do this, especially if I can do it, okay? I believe in you, much like I believe in myself. So I'm excited because I'm excited to show y'all. And even if you aren't inspired now, I hope by the end of this, when you see me get to where I want to be, you will be inspired. And better late than never, you know? So, anyway, happy Sunday. Thanks for hanging out. That's the end of my story. I'll see you guys tomorrow. But, yeah, thanks for being wonderful. I'm proud of you for doing the day, okay? It's hard out here, okay? It's a choice to make it through the day. You did it, even if you stayed in bed. And once again, resting is important, okay? Einstein literally prioritized rest. Like, it's so important for your brain to have that downtime and let the subconscious go to work. It really is. But I don't really know what the topic will be tomorrow, but I'll figure it out. But from there, I hope you guys have a good night or a good day wherever you are in the world. or whenever you watch this. But yeah, take care of yourselves, okay? Because the government doesn't want you to. Anarchy. But hydrate, eat some fiber, eat some yogurt, okay? Yeah. Look in the mirror, smack your ass, and call yourself beautiful, because you are. I love you guys. You guys are freaking fantastic, for real. I'm so grateful. I'm so shocked to have even this many subscribers on my YouTube channel. That's crazy. I'm so beyond grateful. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for being wonderful and supportive and amazing. Don't forget you deserve the good things, okay? Don't let other people tell you otherwise. They don't know you like you know you, okay? They don't get to determine anything about you. Anywho, sending all the good energy and love towards y'all. Make good decisions. Or chaotic ones, I don't care. It makes for a good story, right? Just be safe with whatever you do. And I hope you guys have a good Monday. I guess for some people it is Monday. Have a good Tuesday. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Feel free to check out my Linktree. Thank you again for everybody who's been subbing to me, keeping me fed, and keeping a roof over my head. I love you guys. For real. You guys are wonderful. Okay, take care of yourselves. Toodaloo!